Hello everyone, welcome back to Great Movie Fan's YouTube channel. I'm Luke and today I'm bringing you another belated movie review for a film I saw over Memorial Day weekend that I have to say was a lot better than most critics claimed it was. And I am talking, of course, of Disney's latest live-action fairy tale installment, Alice Through the Looking Glass. So, this movie has a very interesting history. I personally, myself, am a huge fan of the original. And the original Tim Burton directed Alice in Wonderland was the fifth movie to ever join the $1 Billion Club. And now it seems like that is the benchmark for every single blockbuster to potentially get to. And Alice Through the Looking Glass was definitely understandably so why they made a sequel, because the first movie was such a huge success that they wanted to capitalize on that momentum, which is why majority of unintended sequels, I'm not talking about sequels that are made for the purpose of building a franchise. I'm talking about movies that started off as individual pieces, but then future installments got made because they were so financially successful in the first installment. Just look at Jaws, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. You have movies that were only intended to have one installment, but then you have multiple new ones in addition to capitalize on the momentum. And Alice, I'm looking at the numbers here. The first Alice in Wonderland had it was an estimated between $150 and $200 million budget, and it made over $1 billion at the box office. This movie, on the other hand, had a $170 million budget and ended its theatrical run with $270 million worldwide. So it has been labeled as a box office disappointment. It was panned by critics. Fans didn't like it, and I can understand why. When I watch, looking back, I can see why people didn't like this movie. But I think the biggest problem that this movie suffers from is the fact that we had a 6-year gap in between installments. I mean, when the first Alice in Wonderland came out, I was a freshman in high school. And now I am I'm a senior in college. And it's been 6 years. It's been a long time since the last Alice in Wonderland movie. And this movie actually finished principal photography in 2014 and was overhauled and was held up for a whole year before the movie was even released. And watching the film, I have to say, it's a lot better than the critics made it out to be. Is it as good as the first installment? No. But is it a piece of garbage? No. It's a very good movie. It's a very enjoyable family movie. If you have kids that are fans of the original Alice in Wonderland film, then please, by all means, show this one to them. It's a great movie. It does have its flaws. I think that it relies a little bit too much on CGI animation. I'm not talking about the characters. I'm talking about the actual world building. I don't mind when you have computer-generated characters that are in fantasy films or sci-fi films, but when the world building is so in-your-face computer-generated, it does take you out of the movie for a second. But the world building was beautiful. Colleen Atwood's costumes are fantastic. Danny Elfman's score is beautiful, and the cast, of course, is superb. Mia Wasikowska does an amazing performance as Alice. I'm really surprised that she doesn't get better and more work after the first Alice. I think she's a phenomenal actress. I think she brings a lot to this character. Johnny Depp is Johnny Depp. I know that a lot of people are really sick of him. People just are not a huge fan of his characters anymore, or his characterizations. He's had a lot of box office disasters in the past couple of years. He's returning again for Pirates 5 next year, so that either the end of this year or next year, I cannot remember. But Johnny Depp he does a great job as the Mad Hatter. And coming again in here, his character's not as big as he was in the first movie, but whenever Johnny Depp is on screen, you cannot help but just be drawn to him. He's an amazing talent. He really, really is. Anne Hathaway as the White Queen, she did a good job. Anne Hathaway is an amazing actress. She's one of my favorite actresses in Hollywood. I've loved her since I saw her in The Princess Diaries, and she won an Oscar for Les Mis. She was so fantastic in that movie. And her character here, it's not big. It's not a big character. She definitely has more moments, more screen time, but the actual scope of the character is not very large. But Anne Hathaway is delightful, and she's wonderful to watch on screen. Helena Bonham Carter, lot of drawing back to what was in the first movie. She definitely plays this very specific one-note villain. She does have a bit of a character change and a bit of a slight character arc, to say the least, towards the end of the movie. And Sacha Baron Cohen was a great addition to the cast. I think the biggest problem with this movie was the script. I think that Linda Woolverton is an amazing screenwriter. I mean, she wrote the original animated Beauty and the Beast. She wrote Lion King. She wrote Alice. She wrote Maleficent. But I think the biggest problem is that she has so many ideas that she's trying to cram into one movie, that the movie does have a tendency to feel very rushed. It does play up with time and time travel a lot in the movie. I won't give anything away if you haven't seen it, but Alice Through the Looking Glass is a good film. It's not a great film, but it's not a terrible film. I think it's really sad that this is probably the last Alice movie that we're ever going to get, because the box office numbers is so terrible for this movie that I don't see a third installment ever happening, which is sad because I would love to see more of this cast. So if I had to give it an overall rating, I would give it an A-B+ average. Like I said, it has its flaws, but it also has its great moments. So that is my review of Alice Through the Looking Glass. I wonder, what did you guys think of it if you saw it? So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. You can follow me on my social media. Links to that is in the video description. My other channel, GreatMovieFan. Links to my YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, once again, in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.